down, looking for the darkest street on the bay. Hoping to start a revolution, a revival. A few days in and he can already say I've been there.
We didn't film a lot in the beginning, but we just marked the holes for the carbon fiber splitter with a red Sharpie. You can see the red holes on this beautiful APR racing carbon fiber splitter. And we're about to drill the holes with a 1/4 drill bit. So first time drilling into carbon fiber, we'll see how that goes. The way we got our holes was we took our splitter and over here, put it underneath our bumper while it was removed, marked the holes in the right spot, and we'll give you a walkthrough on how to remove and put back on your bumper at the very end. But we'll see if we can get this splitter on. All right, still really talking. Yes. All right. That was way easier than we thought it was gonna be. I was like waiting for like a crack, like listen to the whole thing. I guess that'd be fiberglass though. It melted the drill bit. Why does that happen? You gotta push harder. So this is day 2 of the BRZ splitter install. Yesterday we kind of started off, missed a little filming, so apology for the gap. But we're gonna make sure that the rest of it goes pretty smoothly and you have a clear understanding of how to install this splitter. It's been an adventure, very fun, and we're not just doing the splitter, we're also going to try and install some carbon fiber canards, 2 on each side. So that'll be another adventure as well. So if you look over here, here's where we're at. We were able to get the bumper removed, and that was an interesting process. I mean, it seems pretty easy when you watch it online, but again, just like if you've seen a couple of my other videos, the speed that it takes for you to do any job on a car depends on how good your tools are and how quickly you can find what you need to do. If you know right where you're going and you have all your tools set up beforehand, your process is gonna go so smooth. But if you don't, then it's all over. It's gonna take you twice or 3 times as long because you're gonna need to run to Home Depot, and you're gonna need to come back, do it all again. Get your stuff before you do your install, and you're still probably gonna run into problems. It's never easy. We drilled our holes in our carbon fiber splitter, so right now the bumper is kind of, you can kind of see where it is. This is the bottom, this is the splitter. These are the holes that we drilled the other day. Interesting thing was, it said to use a 1/4 bit. We used a 1/4 bit just to find out that it wasn't just a 1/4 bit, you needed something bigger. So we had to like drill and make a little circle. That's a perfect example of one of the little problems you're gonna run into. So it makes the drilling of the hole, you can't just be done. You gotta go, then you're done, all right? It's a pain in the butt, but it's okay, it's fun, it's an adventure. If you look over here on this side, I kind of tried to lay the bumper here on some bubble wrap at least. Now, you can see how it's just resting in here, if you see the screws in. And now the big problem is, this part right here, the bottom part of the bumper is held in by 2 screws, all right? You would think that they're being held in by more, but it's not. So the problem is this part's kind of raised, and so we thought like, oh, we could cut out this piece of the carbon fiber, like a circle bit, but guess what? Don't have that tool. So I'm gonna have to use a drill to make a big enough circle here where I can fit the screw through this, okay? I only gotta do it twice, so it's not gonna be that hard. So that's what we're gonna do right now. It's a washable, dry erase marker. So now that we have our ghetto Sharpie marker, we're gonna pull this thing off, drill some ridiculously big holes, and be good. So, we screwed in the silver bolts through the holes that we made. We're able to get it nice and flush on the bumper. We haven't put the bumper back on yet, but here's an idea of what it looks like. So it's APR Racing carbon fiber front splitter. And so you can kind of see it, the carbon fiber looks really good. Of course, it'll get wiped down once it's all done. But the next step is the rods. And I'm gonna make sure that we get plenty of footage on how we mark it and how I'm gonna do my rods, because a lot of people like to do them perfectly straight because that's what they tell you you're supposed to do to get the most support, blah, blah, blah. But let's be honest, the only reason you put this thing on is because for looks, and I highly doubt you're really gonna care about the aerodynamics at over 100 miles an hour, because unless you drive like that every day, which that's nobody, but cool, unless you're insane. But yeah, you get my point, okay? It's mostly for looks. We're gonna get a nice V in there, that's the plan. Well, hopefully it comes out well. So take a look at our rods right here. So you get 2 of them, nice and silver. You get 2 washers on the end of them. This one just came off, that's over there though. And so my plan is to take these and put them, I'll show you just with one. Somehow I want the max length. So it's gonna be kind of like this is the plan. So at an angle. Now we gotta make sure that they're perfectly symmetrical, or it's gonna look all messed up, and we don't want that at all. So we're gonna make sure we measure 3 times, cut once, and there we go. Or it's measured twice, cut once, but in this case, 3 times. You get what I'm saying. So like I said, I wanted to show you more about how we're going to measure out the holes for the support rods. Now, there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. It's really up to you, but just so you can see how I'm doing it, here we go. If you look under here, we weren't quite sure where to measure it. So I'm going to attach it up right under here. And so we had to figure out the right way to measure. So we did 3.5 inches from this corner piece in, and then we did 1.5 inches down. So that way we could replicate it on the opposite side. So made a little red mark there. I'll just drill it from right here because it's just going right through. It's a quick little drill, quick little hole. And the exact same side over there. 3.5 inches in, 1.5 inches down. And then once I get the support rods in the top, I can figure out how I want to angle it, because I should be able to angle the rods anywhere I want. And then I can mark the holes down here. We just drilled the last 2 holes to finish off the rods. So, and I wiped it down a little bit with just a paper towel so you can get a look. Because the next thing we're gonna work on are the canards, the carbon fiber canards, which is gonna be a little interesting, but we'll see how it goes. So take a look here. Carbon fiber looks really awesome. You can see the rods. Let me know if you think they're uneven. It's pretty hard to tell, and it's very difficult to line up, but if you were just gonna go straight down in front, probably 10 times easier to line up. But when you're trying to angle it and find the perfect V, like I was saying, it's a little bit more difficult. However, I still think it looks totally sick. So, and everything's actually very tight. So, like, that's all you're feeling right there. And this locks it into place. And these are only hand tight right now. So, like I said, hand tight. But still pretty good. And then eventually we'll tighten it all the way down, and then it'll be perfect. We are working on our carbon fiber canards.
Oh my god.
All right, we got our space heater over there trying to warm this beautiful, luxurious garage up. And so what we did was we're figuring out the best place to put these, all right? It's all gonna come at the end. You'll see what it looks like, but we measured it up here. We want to get the angle so that it follows the angle of the rod. So what we're doing is right here, I drew in pencil around just part of the canard so we could easily line it up. And I know that sounds kind of silly, but I'll just erase it. You can barely even see the pencil, but I can see it. And so then I made my 2 marks where the screws are gonna go through. I'm gonna do 2 screws, possibly a 3rd down here if I want to. But then we're gonna drill the holes through the canard first, and then I'll be able to just mark the hole perfectly on the actual bumper, because we know that once we make the hole on the bumper, we don't wanna have to fill holes. That's gonna be terrible. So we're gonna do it on this canard, screw them into there, get these inner canards in first, and then we will update you then. We just got back from Home Depot, brought our canard here, where so we could match up some screws with bolts. Got 12 of these, we only need 10. We got ourselves some mini, teeny tiny washers here. You can see how small these holes are. We're doing 2 on the inner canards and 3 on the outer canards. So we're gonna work on bolting these up here. It was very hard to try and match up this angle that we're going for here because it's just so awkward, but we'll see what we can do. This is the moment where we have to drill into the actual bumper. Sounds terrifying because I've never actually drilled into a bumper before, but after everything that we've done so far, probably not gonna be too bad. So, right, let's do this. Teeny tiny hole, but it is there. Let's see if our screw fits. Look at that. Now we gotta drill our last hole, right there. Moving on to this last outer canard. So we're gonna go right over here. Finding your measurements is a pretty interesting process, but we line up our carbon fiber canard first where we want it to place it, and then we make the mark on the canard where we're gonna drill while it's resting here. Then we take the canard off, then drill the holes through it. Now that we made the holes on it, then we put it back up, make our mark on the actual bumper, and then drill through there. That way it's all lined up pretty perfect. So we're gonna make our holes through the bumper, get this last canard on, and then hopefully get the bumper back on. Too easy. Get this thing put on there, and then we'll show you the final product. Currently tightening down the rods up top. We're just tightening down all the bolts and everything so that way we know everything's gonna stay on there for a long while. Then we're gonna see if we can put it back on, and then we should be good to go. What we're doing right now is putting the bumper back on. So I know we didn't do that too good of a job of showing you how we take the bumper off, but it's the same thing, just in reverse. So when putting it back on, this is my first time putting a bumper back on, and now we got all this extra stuff on here, so it's gonna be a process. You wanna try and connect your wires. Now I have aftermarket lights in here, some multicolored Bluetooth stuff, so I probably got a couple extra wires than most people do, but the concept is still the same. So these side markers are gonna have to pop out. These are also aftermarket, and you're gonna have to kind of put the arm through. But they're also gonna have to be out when you go to put the bumper on. So, but you wanna try and connect your wires if you can, that way it's already good to go. So I need this to kind of connect into that. On that, bang. Cool, now I can kind of chill. Next step is I got this multicolor light here, which is gonna get hard, it's gonna get kind of tight, but I gotta get it in there inside the fog light housing. And this has gotta stay up here so I can reach it. I don't lose nothing. So once I can get this in there, which I gotta lift up the bumper to kind of do. Now that all our wires are connected, the bumper's sitting low. So here comes the tricky part. We gotta kind of get these snaps in there so that it can rest easy up here before we start screwing and putting those push pins in. So I'm gonna lift it up here, and we're gonna try it. I'm gonna see if I can do it myself, which I don't know if I can. Don't try this at home, kids. Show me what you got. Give me all of your love. I'll give you all you need. We're getting progress. Okay, here's the cool part. It's resting. Now obviously our holes aren't exactly aligned. Ooh. The other thing I'm worried about is those screws in the back.
It's not quite resting over here.
Those screws in the back though, I'm wondering if they're hitting anything. Ooh, baby. We are, now remember, BRZ's FRS 86s are known for this stupid gap here. Now it is my plan to eventually put the snaps so that we can eliminate this gap here, which is a common issue in these cars. Give a little added extra support. Now, I'm not too worried because once I snap everything else in, I'm hoping that that gets a little tighter, but we shall see. It's currently midnight on Sunday, and this has been a 2-day project working on this splitter with the rods, carbon fiber, Canards. Very stressful putting the front bumper back on. Let me know your thoughts. Maybe for some people it's super easy. Mine was not easy at all. I think we spent, what, an hour?
Yeah.
Solid hour trying to put the front bumper on. So like we were done. Home stretch, all you gotta do, boop, boop. And we watched other people's videos, you know, make it look so easy. You're like, we're just gonna pop this thing back on, throw it back on. Right, totally. So basically where we left off is, I mean, let's take a nice glamour shot look here. I think I'm the only person to have this setup from what I've seen with double carbon fiber canards. These I got from ft86.com. All of these parts we got from ft86.com. The inner and outer canards are on there, and then as well the carbon fiber front splitter.
No, I got that on Amazon.
Okay, we got it on Amazon, but they sell it on FT86. Point is, get your deals. The rods come with a splitter. This is the APR racing splitter. There's one other person I think I've seen on YouTube who did an install video of this, and it came out pretty well. This is a little bonus where we added on the canards. Had to go to Home Depot to grab the screws because the canards do not come with hardware. So, and you're gonna have to drill your own holes. So, but what's good about that is you can kind of play around with it and how you make it how you want it to be, right? Because everyone's got a different idea, so it's not specific. These canards are, I believe, recommended for the FRS. However, they look banging on the BRZ. They kind of have a wave pattern here, but honestly, this little gap, you can like barely tell unless you're standing up right next to it. And honestly, it doesn't matter at all. There's only 2 screws in there that are silver, matches the car, so why not? Thought about going black at first, but look, it literally doesn't move. So it's in there really, really good. I'm really happy with the way it came out. I had this vision in my head for about 6 months straight, and I had it all on my wish list, and it's insane to see it on the car now. The project just keeps getting better and better and better, and I cannot wait to show you guys the next thing that I still have waiting to be installed, but you're gonna have to give me a little bit. So I hope this video is helpful for people who are installing canards, especially these. I recommend the products 100%. Find your deals. Let me know if you have solutions to put on that bumper. And basically what we're left with here, this really frustrating, is if you're looking close here, this headlight gap, which is really tiny, but I don't understand what it is, but it is what it is. And the other thing was we couldn't get, with the new front splitter, we drilled 2 holes meant for these 2 rusty, crappy bolts that came on the original BRZ. To drill the bottom of the front bumper in to attach it to the thing on the inside. You'll see it if you do this. But it's pretty impossible to get that in there with this splitter on. So there's no screws on the bottom of it, but you've got a full layer up here of screws and snaps and the ones on the sides. So I think you're pretty good. Plus the front splitter is drilled in and screwed and bolted to the bumper already. So it's just the bumper itself is attached by those bolts and snaps. Overall, extremely happy. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for much more content in the future. Big plans coming up for the BRZ, but we will see. Take it day by day. This is this an E or is that an E? East Coast.
Other way.
That one. East Coast BRZ. Out.
Above, streets and city lights glow.